Hey, baby. Can I come in? Look, I know you don't usually like to do this, but I think we should talk about, earlier. Of course there is. You know me, I can never, ever just sit around and let this type of thing go unaddressed. I know you did, and that's why I'm here. No, you know I could never call you that. I wanted to say that I'm sorry for getting so upset at you, even after you apologized. I can see it in your eyes that it's not. I know you. Well, it may be over, but it still doesn't feel right. I know you're still upset, for one. I know. But, look. I am sorry for getting so upset earlier. It was an honest mistake. I know you've been working really hard lately. I should have remembered that when you came home a little late. I guess I was just so excited for tonight that I lost sight of the fact that it's not the night itself that matters. It's spending time with you. It doesn't really matter whether or not it's at, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, or even 9. What matters is we're together, and we're spending time with each other, and I forgot about that because, well, exactly. I know you apologized. That's why I'm also still here to apologize back, because I stayed upset. Dinner ended up not being very fun, I know. It was a little quiet. But I'm sorry for that. Well, the reason why, I guess, is because I don't want to have you feel like it's genuinely all your fault. Well, maybe a little, just a little. But at the end of the day, I should have just let things go. I should have just been glad to have you with me. And while that was very true, I was still more upset than I should have been. My love, you were too kind to me. You know what I did wasn't the best. Of course. Next time, if although there most likely will be a next time at some point. You are late and dinner is getting cold on a date night. I will do my best to remember that sometimes things happen. You're busier than expected, and sometimes you're just late. And yes, you did so much better than last time you messaged me saying you would be late. And I think you even sent me a message giving me an estimate on when you think you'd be home. Yeah, you did. And if I remember correctly, you actually did make it home around that time. So really, I had no need to be so upset. Maybe a little, but you made sure that I knew what was happening. And for that, I shouldn't have been as upset as I was. Well, thank you, baby. Yes. I do feel a bit better, thank you. I do still worry, of course, because I can tell that you still are a little upset. And you know I'll be beating myself up over it for a while. As will I. I feel like we'll both get over it quickly enough. You feel better. Did they really? Well, that makes them a pretty bad ex, right? To not apologize even if they were wrong. I'm glad I could give you a refreshing change of pace. Because if I want to be honest, then I'll be honest. And if I'm wrong, I want you to correct me. Lovingly and kindly, of course. But correct me. And you know, I'd be more than willing to correct myself when I'm wrong and also apologize. Well, I'm glad. Yes, I do feel a little better. But as you know, it will still bother me just a bit. And that's just me beating myself up over it. And I love you too. You're right. We'll get through this together. And I will remember to not get so upset next time. Correct, if there is a next time. That is very right, you have. You've definitely improved on communication, and I hope I have as well. That is true. No strong relationship is without arguments, or misunderstandings, or even fights. But like you said, what's important is we not fight against each other, although that is kind of how it is, but we more fight against the problem together. In fact, actually read something together one day about that in some sort of article. It was very, very interesting. Oh, was it? That sounds about right. If I remember though, in that article, it had something to do with fights, arguments, and overcoming them together as a couple. And it said something very similar, or pretty much exactly what you said. If and when there's ever a problem, a miscommunication, a fight, look at it together, and look at it to overcome it as a couple, rather than blaming each other, because most of the time, there is usually a little bit at fault on both sides. It definitely does make it better and easier. I don't like to fight with you. I don't even like getting upset with you. That makes me upset. Well, I'm glad you feel the same. And I'm glad you remembered that as well. I think it's really good advice. And as they always say, there's no such thing as a perfect relationship. There'll always be arguments, misunderstandings, hopefully not many or just no fights at all. But even if there are, we should look more at the problem rather than looking at each other as the problem. Well, of course, there's always a couple of exceptions. But I guess that type of thing varies based on couple to couple. I know of a couple of people who've had partners or they themselves have made a big mistake, and instead of just cutting it off, they went to therapy together. They went to therapy alone together, and they worked it out somehow. Of course, it's few and far between, but they've made it through. I think because their love for each other and the person's willingness to change was stronger than the temptation to just break it off. It is definitely a miracle type situation. Hear, hear. Never want that to be the case for us. 'Cause I love you. I don't feel like there will be a problem like that. I would want to work anything out with you as well, as best as we can. Really? Will you do that? Oh, right. I forgot you had the day off. I would love to. I would be honored if you wanted to pick me up after work, but that would mean you'd have to drive me there too, you know. No, I don't doubt that you can pull it off. But are you sure you want to cook? Not, again, to say that you're a bad cook, by any means. It's just time constraints. Okay, I'll put my trust in you. And thank you for talking this through with me. You know, in my past, like you, person I was with did not really take very kindly to disagreements or arguments, and I just always started to assume it was my fault. I'm so thankful for you for it. Truly am. Alright. Sounds like a perfect makeup date. Now? I mean, there's ice cream in the freezer, chocolate fudge. Okay, pre-makeup date movie night it is. That's what we're calling it, right? Sure, I'm down if you are. Alright, okay. I'll start making the sundaes and you pick out the movie. I look forward to this. Exactly. We'll end tonight on a high note, see what tomorrow brings.